Okay, so imagine this. You're looking in the mirror, maybe freaking out a little bit over some sudden redness or maybe acne that just won't go away, or even those weird little bumps that just kind of pop up. And your first thought, like immediately, is always, right, I need a better cream, a fancier one.
Hmm. The expensive stuff.
Exactly. We throw money at our skin like it's just the surface problem, like it got attacked randomly from the outside, and we totally ignore the full-on bacterial war that might be happening inside. It's like trying to fix a foundation issue by just painting the walls, right?
Absolutely. You're putting, like you said, a fancy bandage on something much deeper.
So today, let's dive into that. The maybe uncomfortable truth that fixing skin issues often means looking way past the surface stuff.
Mm.
Because the root cause, it's pretty much always, almost kind of hilariously, inside, in your gut.
That's the heart of it. The gut-skin axis. It's this communication highway, right, between your digestive system and your skin. And it can get chaotic. Your skin isn't usually the main target. It's more like the messenger, the early warning system, your body's little snitch program, basically.
A snitch program, I like that.
Yeah, and it's trying really hard to tell you what's actually going wrong deeper down with your digestion.
Yeah.
So our mission here is to decode what your skin is yelling about. Let's look at the top 5 signals related to your digestive health, because if you want genuinely clear skin, you kind of have to stop obsessing over just your face and, well, fix the foundation.
Okay, let's do it. Where do we start? What's the first big red flag flashing on our skin?
Well, the first one involves that internal ecosystem everyone talks about, the microbiome.
Ah, the internal roommates.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that specifically, when those roommates get out of balance, they start throwing a party and trash the place. We call it an altered microbiome. It's basically, not having enough of the good bacteria and having way too many of the bad ones.
And what causes that? Usually diet.
Often diet-related, yeah. But here's the irony. It's frequently triggered or made worse by taking antibiotics.
Wait, antibiotics, but aren't those supposed to kill bad bacteria?
They are. And that brings us to the symptom. When this balance is off, the classic thing you see on the skin is rosacea.
Okay, the redness, the flushing on the cheeks.
Yep, that persistent redness. Sometimes you can even see little blood vessels. And here's the kicker. What's the common medical treatment for rosacea?
Uh-oh. Let me guess. Antibiotics.
Bingo. You go to the doctor with rosacea, you often walk out with an antibiotic prescription.
So you're saying the treatment actually makes the root cause worse in the long run?
Precisely. It's like this. The antibiotic does temporarily kill off some of the excess bad bacteria causing the immediate inflammation, so the redness might calm down for a bit.
Okay, temporary relief.
But it also damages the good bacteria, further disrupting the overall balance of the microbiome, so it sets the stage for the inflammation to come roaring back,
Yeah.
often even worse than before. That inflammation isn't just random, it's systemic, starting in the gut, and it literally shows up right on your face. A signal that your internal world is pretty out of whack.
That's a really vicious cycle. The fix actually digs the hole deeper. Okay, and I think you mentioned rosacea pops up again with the next point. Something about bacteria being in the wrong place.
Right. So moving on from just the balance of bacteria to their location, we're talking about SIBO,
SIBO.
small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. Basically, you have microbes setting up shop and multiplying in your small intestine,
And they're supposed to be.
mostly down in the large intestine. So picture them having this huge, messy party in the wrong part of the house.
Okay, so they're partying in the small intestine. What's the damage?
Well, they become freeloaders. They start competing with you for the nutrients from your food.
Ah, so that's where nutritional deficiencies can come in.
Exactly. Plus, their fermentation process creates a lot of gas, hence the intense bloating often seen with SIBO. And, crucially, it causes significant systemic inflammation. This inflammation can show up in surprising ways, like even contributing to arthritis. But yes, SIBO is another really common driver of rosacea.
So the same skin symptom, rosacea, could point to either a general imbalance or bacteria literally in the wrong spot. Your face is reflecting this internal chaos.
It really is. Your skin is telling a story about what's happening inside.
Okay, so we've covered bacterial imbalance and misplacement. Let's shift gears a bit to the actual damage this inflammation causes inside the gut itself.
Good transition.
Yeah.
Let's talk about general gut inflammation, and we kind of have to point fingers at a common dietary trigger here.
Let me guess. Gluten.
Often, yeah.
Oh.
Gluten, found in wheat, barley, rye. It's a major aggressor for many people's guts, causing inflammation.
And when the gut gets inflamed, what does that block? What can't get through?
It messes up absorption, big time. The more inflamed your gut lining is, the harder it is for your body to absorb essential nutrients. And a key one here is zinc.
Zinc. Okay, and if you're low on zinc because your inflamed gut can't absorb it, how does that show up on your skin?
Very specific ways. You often see rashes and this really distinctive, flaky, scaly red skin, typically right around the nose and the mouth.
Perioral dermatitis, is that what it's called?
That's often what it looks like, yeah. And it makes sense because zinc is absolutely crucial for skin health, wound healing, even healing the gut lining itself, like ulcers.
So inflammation stops you from getting zinc, and then your skin breaks down in those really visible areas.
Exactly. And it's like a double hit because that flaky skin problem. It gets way worse if your diet is also high in inflammatory omega-6 fatty acids.
From things like seed oils, right? Corn oil, soybean oil.
Yep, those common vegetable oils.
Yeah.
And if you're low on the anti-inflammatory omega-3s, like the ones you get from fish or cod liver oil, the inflammation just runs wild.
So the inflammation is hitting you from the food trigger, like gluten, and from the type of fats you're eating.
It all adds up, which leads to a really important rule of thumb when you're trying to heal your gut.
Okay.
The more damaged your digestive system feels, the simpler your meals should be. Fewer ingredients per meal. Less burden on the system.
Makes sense. Give it less work to do while it's trying to recover.
Precisely. Because if that inflammation isn't managed, if it becomes chronic,
Yeah.
it goes beyond just blocking nutrients. It starts causing physical damage.
Physical damage. Like what?
Damage to the villi.
The villi, remind me.
Think of them as tiny, like shag carpet fibers or little root-like things lining your intestines. Their job is to create a massive surface area to absorb nutrients.
Okay, got it. Like little fingers grabbing nutrients.
Perfect image. Chronic inflammation can basically flatten or blunt these villi. It smooths out the surface.
So you lose all that absorption area.
You lose a ton of surface area. And when that happens, it becomes incredibly difficult to absorb certain nutrients, especially the fat-soluble ones. And a huge one here is vitamin D.
Ah, vitamin D. Everyone's talking about that lately. And low vitamin D affects the immune system, right?
Massively. Low vitamin D levels are directly linked to immune system dysfunction. It makes the immune system vulnerable, confused, which is why you often see a connection to autoimmune skin disorders when villi are damaged and vitamin D can't be absorbed properly. The immune system starts attacking the body's own tissues, including the skin.
So conditions like psoriasis or certain types of eczema could have roots in this chronic gut damage and resulting vitamin D deficiency.
It's definitely a major contributing factor to look at. The internal foundation is compromised and the immune system goes haywire.
Wow. Okay, so what do you do then if the roots are damaged?
Well, you have to compensate. This often means taking significantly higher doses of vitamin D just to get enough absorbed through the damaged lining. Or things like regular sensible sun exposure or even light therapy can help boost levels.
You're basically trying to bypass the broken absorption mechanism.
That's the idea, until the gut lining itself can heal.
Okay, this is connecting a lot of dots. Let's move to the final piece you mentioned. This one involves an organ people kind of forget about until it causes problems. The gallbladder.
Yep, the gallbladder. And the issue here isn't necessarily absorption through the gut wall, but the step before that, breaking down fats properly in the first place.
How does the gallbladder fit in?
It stores and releases bile. And bile is absolutely essential for digesting fats and, crucially, for absorbing fat-soluble vitamins. We just mentioned vitamin D, but another critical one here is vitamin A.
Okay, so if your gallbladder isn't working right, or maybe it's been removed.
Or if you're just not producing enough good quality bile.
Yeah.
Your body simply cannot break down and utilize vitamin A effectively.
And vitamin A deficiency.
Oh.
How does that show up on the skin? This is fascinating.
It often causes those little kind of rough bumps. People call them goose pimples, but they're not from being cold. They typically cluster on the back of the arms, sometimes the thighs or legs.
Keratosis pilaris, is that related?
That's exactly what it often is. Those bumps are a classic sign the body isn't getting or using vitamin A properly, often because of a bile issue.
Okay, so rough bumps on the arms could mean check your bile flow.
It's a definite possibility. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. What messes up bile production or flow?
Let's hear it.
Several things. Chronic stress is a big one.
Stress again, of course.
Also, certain estrogen therapies, think birth control pills or hormone replacement therapy.
Wow, okay.
And here's a dietary link. Having too much insulin circulating frequently, which usually comes from eating a diet high in refined carbohydrates and sugars.
Wait. So stress, hormones, and my pasta habit could all be ganging up to sabotage my bile production, leading to vitamin A deficiency and bumpy arms.
It's a harsh reality, isn't it?
Yeah.
They can all contribute to sluggish or insufficient bile. Sometimes itchy skin can also be a sign of bile issues, by the way.
Man. Okay, so if you suspect sluggish bile is the problem, what do? Eat more vitamin A.
Getting enough active vitamin A retinol is key. Things like grass-fed beef liver are amazing sources. High-quality cod liver oil is another great one.
And cod liver oil has those omega-3s too, right? Killing two birds.
Exactly. Get the vitamin A and the anti-inflammatory omega-3s. But sometimes you also need direct bile support.
Like supplements.
Yeah, for sluggish bile, sometimes supplementing with things like ox bile, purified bile salts, or a specific bile acid called TUDCA can make a huge difference.
TUDCA.
Yeah, TUDCA. It helps thin the bile and improve its flow, which really helps digest those fats and fat-soluble vitamins like A and D.
Okay, wow. So 5 major signs. Rosacea from imbalance, or SIBO. Zinc deficiency, rashes around the nose, mouth from inflammation. Autoimmune issues linked to vitamin D absorption problems. And those vitamin A deficiency bumps from poor bile flow. Our skin is definitely talking. So we get it. Stop just slathering on creams. How do we actually start the cleanup crew? How do we fix the foundation?
Right, the solutions. The absolute non-negotiable starting point is cleaning up the diet. We have to remove the irritants. And remember that rule. The more inflamed or damaged your gut feels, the stricter and simpler that diet probably needs to be, at least initially.
Eliminate the triggers like gluten for many,
Yeah.
maybe dairy, processed stuff.
Exactly. Calm things down. Then you want to actively support the good guys.
Probiotics.
Probiotics can help, yes. A good quality supplement. But even better, maybe, is getting diverse, beneficial microbes from fermented foods.
Like sauerkraut.
Sauerkraut, kimchi, kefir, plain yogurt, even some raw milk cheeses if you tolerate dairy. These foods bring in a wider range of helpful bacteria. Even the microbes on a fresh-picked garden salad can act like a probiotic.
Okay, so clean up the diet, bring in the good bacteria. What about specifically for that SIBO situation, the bacteria partying in the small intestine? That sounds tricky.
It can be very tricky, especially for people who get really bloated, like painfully bloated, and find that eating fiber, even from healthy vegetables, makes them feel worse.
Because the bacteria are just fermenting it in the wrong place.
Precisely. For those severe cases, sometimes a more extreme temporary approach is needed to essentially starve out the overgrowth.
Is this where the carnivore diet comes in?
It's often used very effectively in those situations, yeah. The carnivore diet basically eliminates all fiber and fermentable carbohydrates.
So it removes the fuel for the bacteria in the small intestine.
Exactly. And meat is also very rich in an amino acid called glutamine, which is fantastic for helping to heal the gut lining itself.
Okay, so it's like a gut reset for severe SIBO. But that sounds really restrictive. Are there other things for SIBO?
Oh, definitely. It's not usually the first step unless things are severe. Intermittent fasting is really helpful, giving your small intestine long breaks from digestion, maybe eating only one meal a day for a period.
Allows the gut's cleaning waves to work better.
Exactly. And sometimes helping to acidify the stomach environment with betaine HCl supplements or even just apple cider vinegar before meals can help kill off misplaced bacteria higher up.
Got it. So several tools for SIBO depending on severity. And what about that bile support you mentioned earlier, taking TDCA or ox bile if needed?
Yep, absolutely crucial if poor fat digestion or vitamin A/D issues are suspected. Supporting bile flow is key.
Okay, and then you mentioned one more thing, a secret weapon. Something about making your own probiotic.
Ah, yes. This is more about creating the right environment for beneficial bacteria to thrive, particularly one called L. reuteri, pronounced luteride.
L. reuteri.
Yeah, it's a specific beneficial strain that's interesting because it can live happily in both the small and large intestine, and it produces substances that make the environment more acidic.
And bad bacteria don't like acid?
Generally, no. Pathogenic bacteria often prefer a more alkaline environment. So encouraging L. reuteri helps create conditions where the bad guys can't thrive. This approach can be particularly helpful for people with a long history of antibiotic use, which wipes out beneficial strains, or for those struggling with chronic acne.
Acne, too. How does it help acne?
By reducing that systemic inflammation we keep talking about. If you heal the gut, reduce the internal inflammation driven by imbalances, or SIBO, that calming effect extends system-wide, often dramatically improving inflammatory conditions like acne. It stops the noise from the gut from showing up on your
That
face.
makes so much sense. It's all connected. Okay, this has been incredibly insightful. We've really gone way beyond just thinking about skin creams. It's clear the connection is real and powerful. Your face, your arms, your skin.
Yeah,
It's often just the messenger delivering bad news from your colon, your small intestine, maybe your gallbladder.
that's a great summary. If you think of your gut as the sort of command center for your overall health, and your skin is like the soldier on the front lines, we need to look at that soldier. What's the condition?
Hmm.
What does your skin's current state tell you about the battle raging inside?
So maybe the final thought for everyone listening is this. If getting the clear, healthy skin you want, getting rid of the rosacea, the rashes, the bumps, actually means changing your grocery list significantly. Maybe embracing supplements like zinc or TDCA, maybe trying intermittent fasting or even something stricter for a time. How ready are you, really, to ditch the expensive lotion and start listening to what your gut is trying to tell you?